All right. It's the Morning Drive Jive. Live for 5 Archive. Hope you guys are doing well this morning. Welcome. Witches and warlocks, wizards and wayfarers, supplicants and mendicants alike, neophytes and adepts. Even the magi themselves might find something of usefulness in the old morning grind banter. So I watched a couple videos this morning. One of them was a catalyst about something I have thought about in the past for a while. He didn't mention it specifically, but what he referenced delineated it in my mind. So this phone mount can't be helped. I don't know why it's bouncing. It's never done that before, but it's bouncing. You guys are just gonna have to listen to the audio and forget about the video, because I mean, what you're looking at is the same thing every time. Frank Monday's mug and bouffant hairdo. So this video titled Spiritual Powers versus Magic. So folks may think that magic is the idea of spiritual powers, but they're different, and they're cultivated through different means. Your magic is a set of methods for bringing about desired results. Spiritual powers are that. Some of those are the goals of your magic, but spiritual powers and magic, the magic mind, are cultivated a little differently. Now, of course, we go back to the universal way. It's all a part of the wholeness. So magic is the big category of spiritual powers. But spiritual powers are best cultivated in remote, rustic locations during HGA retreats, and when you have those opportunities in life where you are able to depart from the world for a while and enjoy the opportunity to cultivate deeply without the discursive human opinions miring your practice in BS. Now, magic is best cultivated when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the BS, because that's when you're tested. When your memory's tested, your intuition, your logic and reason, your empiricism. Robert Anton Wilson, in his book Prometheus Rising, points out one of the great pitfalls in magic is the modern mantra of coincidence. So just the propensity to write everything off as coincidence. Now, with that said, he gives the aspirant the tools with which to overcome some of that with his idea of a multi-model approach. Because settling into any one of the given channels and saying, oh, mere coincidence, those kinds of things just happen. You increased the amount of, its likelihood. You foresaw it in some way. So the multi-model approach helps in rationalizing some of it, but the magic mind is beyond that. You have to get settled in your practice to the point where you know the truth that you brought it about. That way, those meaningful coincidences can become a chain of synchronicities that will lead you to the great work, to the bigger things, which means self-actualization and accountability. Now, spiritual powers. What are the spiritual powers and how do you attain them? You attain them by receiving the method, learning the method, and then the gathering of your subtle energy over a long period of time until that supersensual spiritual power is awakened and you can use it effectively a few times. Once you've been able to awaken it and use it a few times, through diligent practice and intention, different from just beginner's luck, intuitively getting it done one time. Beginner's luck, getting it done one time, that makes you aware. And the discursive mind will write that off as coincidence and chance. That's the kind of shit you need to break through. That's the kind of naysayer mentality that can stifle your practice and throw you into the abyss of inertia. So, let me, by way of analogy, I had been practicing Qigong for a long time, and some students in class one day wanted proof. And I thought, okay, I want proof too, maybe. I said, I don't know. I could feel the Qi. It was bubbling within me. And I said, I don't know. I had a glass of water sitting in front of me. And I said, maybe if there's Qi and I've tapped into it, I said, maybe I can make this water react in some way. And so I looked at the glass of water. I took a drink and summoned my Qi to my Dantian and focused my my intent. So Qi is the life force, the electromagnetic energy. It takes many forms. There are many different kinds of Qi. There's Yuan Qi, there's Wei Qi. The Chinese system has Jing Qi Shen as the three primary components of cultivation. So it's really simple. Divisions of threes. 3 Dantian, 3 qualities of energy, from grosser to more subtle. You refine in the center of Qi, the center Dantian, and you pull the polarities of heaven and earth from the top and bottom to swirl it there in the center. And then there are waypoints all along the psychic centers where you can store Qi, behind the knees, so on and so forth. Anyway, I summoned up a vast amount of that Qi that I had been cultivating for years, like 5, 6, 7 years, without attempting anything really. Just the manifestation of a normal life, which is the highest divine principle of the great work, the stability of natural life. And I focused that Qi on the water and expected and not wanted, but yeah, I wasn't lusting for results, but I don't know, maybe in retrospect, maybe I didn't even really think anything would happen. I don't know though. I remember at the time, I was just pure Qi. I wasn't thinking about whether or not something would happen. And my mind was empty, you know, and I just thought, okay, I'm just directing Qi out of my Dantian and into the water through my hands. And, you know, some sort of, with the desired result of some sort of telekinetic reaction. So here's what happened. Exactly where my Qi landed on the E, where I had focused it, a little bubble appeared in the water. It was either 1 or 2 or 3 or something like that. Some bubbles appeared in the water at the center of the water in the glass. That's it. They just bubbles appeared and rose up. Like a chemical reaction had occurred. And maybe just by being close to the glass, you know, gravity pushed down the water, the bubbles came up, whatever. But again, if you get into that, oh, it's just coincidence, maybe, right? But does that matter? Because I made it happen. Maybe my knees shifted and the glass shifted a little, right? And the bubbles rose up. But there weren't any bubbles in the water. The water was completely bubble free. I remember when I took a drink, it was like the most bubble free water I had ever seen, right? And I set the cup down. Anyway, now I'm just trying to justify it. That doesn't matter. I know the truth. I could tell you another one that's far more powerful, but let's save that one for another day. Because that one was another situation where people were demanding proof of the validity of Qigong and its effects on the outside world. And because the line of questioning and doubting was the same, you know, I think it was like 5 or 6, maybe 10 doubting Thomases sitting around, and me thinking, what the fuck, you know, right? I'm in China. These guys are supposed to have some sort of connection with spirituality and practice, but just more meat golems. And for some reason, there's those occasional instances when you're gathered in a crowd and your beliefs, and I wouldn't even say they were beliefs, it's just practice, right? I didn't have any firmly fixed beliefs on whether or not I could generate a telekinetic effect or see the future and then time myself with that telekinetic effect. Or, you know, I was completely guileless. I wasn't trying to bring about any result other than breaking through their deeply clouded minds. And when that is the situation, and I guess heaven and the spirit world feels like, yeah, it's worthwhile, this guy's a worthwhile representative of the Magi, and it's worthwhile to show these fools that the cultivation of Qi practice does bring about tangible effects in the material sphere, then something happens. And sometimes it's big. Like, I've got a story for you about during Kendo practice one year when I had been over here in China, probably about 10 years at that point, and I had been going to Kendo a lot, and I had a whole group of maybe like 10 Kendo practitioners with that same clouded, you know, meat golem, no! And man, I unleashed, and you know, not me, but the universal way working through me, unleashed a grand display of spiritual power. And I should probably write that one up real solid before I share it, because it's a highly instrumental and very valuable spiritual experience in my life. And there were witnesses, lots of witnesses there to back up the telling of that tale. I love y'all good looking sexy people out in Happy Land. I will see you in a moment for part 2. Bye for now. As above, so below. Into the abodes of the future. Zaijian. Or I gotta find a good way to finish that. It says finish live stream, but you and I know that it's never finished.